Okay, my beautiful friends, here we go. This is my post-market wrap-up on this. It's lovely. It's always lovely. On this lovely Wednesday, July 15th, 2020. I just realized I have a birthday coming up on the 22nd. Can you believe that? I am going to be 55. 55 years old. Man, I tell you, time flies, really does. And I noticed something. I think there's a word for it. It's called the quickening. As you get older, it seems that time quickens. It moves faster. It's kind of an interesting concept. And as I do get older, it seems that it's very true. All right, so look, enough of that. Let's talk about this market. Let's talk about where we're going. Let's talk about it. News we got today and where we're going from here. It's pretty simple. Before I even say that, let me outline something for you here. I wonder how many of you actually realize the epic, tremendous edge that we have just by understanding the mechanism behind everything, what's driving it, where we are going. I think a lot of you are underestimating how powerful that is. It's pretty unbelievable to me because we have frankly destroyed this thing. Upside down, backwards, and sideways. If you're one of my lions out here and you are trading this market, you're probably having one of the best years you've ever had if you've been following my newsletter. Again, 100% free to everyone out here. There is a link in the description of this video. Sign up, don't sign up, whatever. Okay, I'm trying to help you out. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. But understanding, again, the bigger picture here about inflate or die lets us understand what we need to be doing from the other side, which is, again, I'm not a one-trick pony, okay? I got people saying, oh, Greg, you need to buy this, and Greg, you need to get this, and Greg, you should put all your money in this basket. You got to be insane. If you believe there is one thing, just one, and that's where you're putting all your capital in this market, well, you're setting yourself up here for a big letdown. Only the biggest rookie on the face of the earth with regard to investing in assets would pick one and only one. You must have yourself spread out. But if I were to pick one, what would it be? You all know what it would be. Physical silver. That would be it. If I had one, that would be it. But to me, I've explained to you many times, what is the difference between the average person and someone who is, I guess, what you would consider wealthy? There's only one difference. The wealthy person owns things. They don't necessarily have a lot of cash laying around. They just own assets, a lot of assets. That's me. I own a lot of assets. I do happen to have a few dollars laying around too, but I put it to work. It doesn't sit around doing nothing. You understand? Anyway, look, so let's talk. Neat little rally here on Wall Street today. Nothing tremendously monumental, but a rally nonetheless. Stocks finished higher across the board. A trend that will continue. Did I say earlier today, pay attention, that I want stocks to pull back? Not that they will, okay? There's a big discrepancy. I caught some of that earlier today. This market needs to give back. If you notice, it's gone parabolic lately on the promise of more easy money. And Fed Brainerd yesterday, when she made it clear that the Fed's going to keep rigging the debt market, why does the Fed choose to openly rig the debt market? From the financial crisis, which we're still in a financial crisis, if it were not for the Fed pumping and pumping and pumping, do you think anything would be where it is right now? No, of course not. But the Fed has chosen to take the largest aspect of this market and rig it because every single other asset on the planet Earth, whatever it may be, derives value from what's happening in the debt market. So that's why the Fed is choosing to take that. And they're also buying stocks. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I told all of you last month, watch for July. That's what I said. Watch for July. You don't believe that? If you subscribe to my newsletter, look through all the newsletters you got, watch for July. Wait for July. Well, has that proven to be correct? Yeah, it really has. But this is the Wall Street banks. I want to talk about that in a second. This is the hedge funds. This is the Federal Reserve. Unlimited capital. They created out of thin air with a zero chance of inflation because why? They deliberately killed the global economy to shut down the money velocity. Okay, that's what they did. Understand, I told you this before. This is the Federal Reserve. This wasn't a China virus, as our president keeps saying. This wasn't released by the United States. This was done by the Federal Reserve, not part of the government. Okay, to shut down the global economy, kill the money velocity, so they can buy it all, fulfill their over 1 century plan to own the world, and that's what they're doing here. With more and more members of Congress calling for more debt from the Fed. You can't make it up. But that's what they're doing. Why? Because they're puppets of the Fed. The Fed, by far, there's not one organization on this planet right now that is stronger than the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve has an enforcement arm. You know what it is. It's the United States military. Its entire might stands behind the Federal Reserve. How do I know that? How can I prove that to you? Do a little research into something called the petrodollar. Okay, if you understand the petrodollar, you understand how powerful the Federal Reserve is. They're unstoppable. Unstoppable. Let's talk about the banks. Banks are reporting in aggregate windfall profits. Some doing better than others, but overall windfall profits. Are you surprised? Let me see your shocked face. You like that? Yeah. The banks are so powerful. Again, why? It's the Wall Street banks that run the Fed. All right? They're invincible. Invincible. They weren't allowed to fail. Last time, what did they do? They had their sacrificial lamb, Bear Stearns. I'm sorry, it wasn't even Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns really was absorbed by J.P. Morgan. But Lehman Brothers was the sacrificial lamb for Wall Street because they had to do something. Okay, they had to show the people, oh, we're going to let this one bank fail, but forget about AIG, forget about anybody else. Bear Stearns, okay, you know what we'll do? We're going to sell all Bear Stearns assets to JP Morgan at fire sale prices, and then we're going to call it all good. And the people won't know any better. You know why? Because they're too stupid. That's what they think. You have to understand that. You're being pulled in every direction by every single politician, president on down, by every single Federal Reserve president, by the corporate agenda. Your mind is being twisted, okay? And they're doing this by the mechanism of more fear. Again, they're throwing everything they can. Bubonic squirrels, that was yesterday. Bubonic squirrels, that's not going to work. I think people laughed at it. So today, what are they doing? They're rolling out this narrative. Oh, pay attention to this. That this is going to be worse than the Spanish flu. Now, I want you to go, of 1918, I want you to go to the CDC's website. The CDC has a very interesting post there. They're warning people about false positives regarding these coronavirus tests. Not only that, people are being counted more than once. Okay, I want you to think about this too. This is not Greg Mannarino, this is the CDC. The CDC, if you test positive for COVID-19, you're counted once. If you test again in another month, you're counted twice. If I know someone who was tested 3 times, okay? And I'm certain that actually it was interesting. It was a positive test, it was a negative test, then it was a positive test. So this one person was counted twice. Or does the negative erase one? I mean, they can't get their act together. But people are being counted more than once. Okay, if they're being tested and they're testing positive, one person could test positive, I guess, 3, 4, 5 times. One person gets counted as 5 people. So it's too stupid. You can't believe anything that they're trying to sell you, okay? And this vaccine agenda, it's getting crazy right now with this, the world spokesperson, Mr. Bill Gates himself. You know, a lot of people think this guy walks on water. But to me, what is he doing? What is this? Why does he feel that he can dictate what we should have injected into our bodies? Explain that one to me, those of you that believe Bill Gates walks on water, because there are some. And I hear from them all the time. In fact, I got told off today because I made a post on Bill Gates today, and I got told off on that because I don't understand Bill Gates. He's a really sweet guy. You got it? All right, so look, let's talk a little more. Stocks higher across the board. Cryptocurrencies fell under pressure. Silver put on a slight gain. Actually, a 1.2% gain, I believe. Gold put on a slight gain. The dollar got hit. 10-year yield about flat. Crude oil, of course, put on a gain today. Let me see a shocked face there. Okay, no. It's just nonsense. This is all a game. You and I have a clear understanding of the end game. So that, again, puts us light years ahead of all the propaganda YouTube channels there are, and there are several out here, a couple of real big ones, and they are shoving that propaganda as hard as they can at whoever wants to listen, and it's creating a lot of discord. A lot of people are going to get caught on the wrong side of this entire thing and are getting caught on the wrong side of this thing. Look, I give it to you as straight as possible, and I want you to verify every single thing that I say. Everything. Don't take my word for a damn thing, okay? You go out there, you do your own research. If you're polarized, if you're stuck into the two-party system, you're blind, and there's no helping you. But once you realize that the truth is always up the middle, and you have a balance, well, then you'll be able to see things more clearly. Until that time, you are lost. There is no two-party system. It's one party, okay? And if your vote counted at all, you wouldn't be allowed to vote. Well, maybe in the local elections, but not in the presidential elections. The president is chosen by Wall Street, by the Wall Street banks. And I'll say something else real quick here, and I want you to do your own research on this as well. I posted links to this. I have said several times that it was a lock for President Trump. He's got a little problem here, okay, that I did not foresee. That is, the Wall Street banks. The Wall Street banks are turning on him. The Wall Street banks will get whoever they want to sit in the White House. You understand? If they feel, as I do, I believe beyond any shadow of a doubt that if Joe Biden were to win, I'm going to call this a big if still, if Joe Biden were to win, stocks would rip higher. The only thing that matters to this market is more easy money. Joe will make sure that more easy money is poured into this market, poured into everything. They're going to borrow from the Fed more so than we are now. And that is extremely stock market positive, while of course being very dollar negative. Weaker dollar, it's a double whammy. You understand? So anyway, I'm just putting it out there. With the Wall Street banks now not backing the president, that's a problem. But we'll watch it moving forward. I mean, look, to me, I personally don't give a damn who sits in the White House. It doesn't matter at all to me because I understand the agenda and so do you. It's the banks. It's the Federal Reserve controlling everything. They are the puppet masters. They are pulling the strings, not just here in the United States, but around the world. They could put anything they want in the White House. They could, whatever it might be, I don't care. Like I said yesterday, they could put anything, a farm animal, an inanimate object. It doesn't matter. President just sits there and does what he's told to do. He's there to have some people look up to and praise, and the other people to hate, to keep you polarized. That's all it's about. It's about keeping you off balance. And the main thing you need to do is regain your balance and understand that it's all a lie, the whole thing. All right, that's it. Love you a lot. Please share the video. See you tomorrow.